The Oklahoma Sooners have thrown out another defensive line transfer portal offer. And Oklahoma fans, you might be sitting here asking yourself, why would Oklahoma offer another defensive lineman? I thought, one, we landed one, and two, we're sitting in a good spot for another guy already. Listen, we got to talk about the impact of it and what this could potentially mean. But before we do that, guys, I need to hear from y'all. So make sure you're joining the discussion, letting me know your thoughts, right? Do you think Oklahoma will actually land Javier Suggs, or do you think they're actually just going to go ahead and get Dominic Williams, the transfer TCU defensive lineman? And that's where we got to start off today, because you guys will be watching this on a Thursday, and that's when Dominic Williams is expected to make his announcement of where he is going to end up transferring. But recently on Tuesday night, you saw Oklahoma throw out an offer to the Grand Valley State transfer defensive lineman, Javier, and I believe that's how you say it, Javier Suggs. And this is a guy, he's 6'3", about 285 pounds. So he's not as big as a Lole or a Dominic Williams, or even one of the two Michigan State guys in the Simeon Barrow or a Harmon, right? He's not as big as those guys. So this is a guy that I think he still fits your 3T. He probably is going to come in, have to put on a little weight. They'll slide him on the inside, though. But here's the deal. Florida State, they're pursuing him. And if Florida State wants to transfer defensive linemen, I think they've proven that they have a good eye for identifying these kids. Hence at some of their most recent draft picks that were transfers into their program. But Suggs said his interest in Florida State is genuine, and he's looking forward to getting to Tallahassee. He was interested in FSU. He loved the coaching staff and their ability to build players. Here's the deal, though. In 22 games over the last two seasons, he had 42 total tackles, 8 sacks, and 14 and a half tackles for loss. So Suggs is going to be a guy that comes in and has 2 years of eligibility, which, to be a high draft pick, he's probably going to have all 2 years to be able to develop into a draft pick here at Oklahoma. That would be maybe within the first 3 to 4 rounds. So if you're Oklahoma, you're setting up a contingency plan. That's all this is. You don't want to put all of your chips in one basket for Dominic Williams just in case it doesn't go your way. Remember, Dominic Williams, he visited Texas, he visited Mizzou, and he visited LSU. The problem with that is, and I know we're getting his announcement later today at some point, Dominic Williams hasn't really told anybody where he's leaning. I think we all expect it might be Oklahoma based on how that visit went and other things that are pointing to it. But you've got to have the contingency at this point. You're going into the SEC. You can't be lacking on the defensive line. You've got to have elite level play if you want to compete for an SEC championship and potentially get to the playoffs and represent the SEC there. So Javier Suggs is a guy that the Oklahoma coaching staff is definitely going to be looking at. And then you look at just what they're doing on the recruiting trail, because they got Trent Wilson. They've got Kamori Moore currently committed in this class. Obviously, I think we're all expecting the commitment from Cole Breiler, who I think is going to be an absolute monster. But Oklahoma's got a couple other prospects they're looking at on the defensive line. The first one being Floyd Bucard, the guy out of Miami Central. He originally was in Canada, then went to Bama or Alabama, and now he's in Florida, right? This is a guy that Oklahoma was his first offer. They've kept in constant communication with him. I was actually talking to Jay earlier about Floyd Bucard, and I said, he's 315 pounds. Like, Floyd Bucard is a guy that he could get on campus for Oklahoma and immediately slide in and play his true freshman year. Like, he has that build. He's there. You might want to tone him up a little bit, but I think Floyd Bucard is a guy that you get his commitment, he makes an immediate impact on for you. And that's 4 commits on the defensive line for Oklahoma in this class. But they've also got Christian Evans. And if you guys have watched this podcast, you guys know we're working on getting Christian Evans here on, but we've talked to him, and it seems like Oklahoma is sitting in a good spot in that recruitment. Like, there is a real world where Oklahoma takes 5 defensive linemen in this class. If Cole Breiler and Christian Evans commit before Floyd Boucard commits. And you, by the way, you're getting Floyd Boucard on an official visit here to Oklahoma. So that's big news. So if you're Oklahoma, the defensive line, it's intriguing to you. What they're doing in the portal right now, what they're doing on the recruiting trail. And I think we've got a lot coming up. And it's going to be interesting that we have to watch. So I want to hear from y'all. Make sure you guys are joining the discussion, jumping down in the comments below, giving me your guys' thoughts. Hey, and if you guys have made it this far and you have not already, make sure you hit that like and you guys hit that subscribe button.